Good evening. This is We Agree to Disagree. Bill Nickerson and I are going to this evening do something called Get It Right, because the last time we had a little trouble, but it was society's fault, not ours. This current generation, that's what it does. We're going to go into, first of all, what's upcoming. That's the first part, and Bill says he has quite a few things. Then I'd like to discuss the Warren Brown debate. If time allows, we may get into a little bit personal about us, who we are, so you'll understand that we are at least able to discuss what we're talking about. And then what were they thinking as a part of the show, which we will take on certain things that people say and do, and we will raise the question, what were they thinking? And I'm going to right now hand it over to Bill to give us some intro into the things that are coming up. William Nickerson.
Thank you, Don. First of all, welcome back our audience from last week who might have watched us on our debut show. And
we hope both of them are watching.
Yeah, we hope both of them are watching again. I've learned since that if you didn't see the show and you'd like to, it's available on YouTube. The YouTube has what's called the Raynham Channel, and you can go on there and you can watch pretty much any videoed show that the local
Wow.
Raynham
And you
Channel
can
shows.
zero it in?
You can do all kinds of things with us. You can. I don't know about drawing mustaches on us or things like that, but
Well,
but you
give
can
it
certainly watch our prior
give it
shows.
a try.
Yes, yes. Again, I want to welcome you since last summer when we last saw you. Now that it's autumn, I want to start out with just a little shout out, a little personal shout out to my daughter Jackie, who's going to go into the hospital tomorrow and she's going to have her thyroid removed. At Beth Israel, you know, for a 20-year-old,
That's off something for anyone.
yeah. So mixed emotions this evening, and again,
Sure.
She's gonna be fine. She's watching.
Sure.
She's gonna be fine. But I want you to shout out and wish her all the best tomorrow, and I know she's gonna be great, and we'll get her back home by the weekend. So
Yes.
I want to put that little.
We
personal
wish her
tidbit
well.
out there.
That's well timed.
Thank you, Don. And I'll follow up. I've got some notes right here. Before I get into some of the things coming up, we got a lot of stuff coming up in town. The premise of our show is varied, but one of the most important parts, Don and I agreed right from the get-go, was discuss what's going on locally in the greater Raynham area. The last show, I went on about a 10-minute, it wasn't a tirade, discussion on the convention.
That's your opinion. It wasn't a tirade.
Okay, maybe it was a
It
tirade.
was a tirade.
But I mentioned there were 41 delegates, and it was called to my attention that, well, Bill, you mentioned there was 27 from the counties, and
Yep.
then there was 11 from the state committee.
Most of them have been bailed out by now, I'm
I
sure.
think that, well, at least I'm out. So, but that added up to 38, as it pointed out to me. And
Oh, you got the numbers wrong?
well, I was correct. There's 41. I failed to mention that the chairman of the party goes ex officio. And then the national committee man and national committee woman, they go. So that's where the 41 delegates are.
Okay.
That was
All
a
right.
follow-up from our last
All
show.
right, we'll buy it.
Okay. Just like last show, we showed up the day after a big event.
That's right.
We had the Pride Day and
Raynham
the
Pride.
next day. Well, yesterday in Taunton, they had the 30th anniversary of the POW MIA vigil that they hold, and it was a very touching, moving event down in Taunton. And in fact, I brought you for your car, the POW MIA.
Oh, that's very nice.
They remarkably, you know, this is going back to World War II, and I know there was a nice write-up in the Taunton Gazette today. Who, by the way, I want to thank the Gazette and the Call for some of the information that we.
That's
talked
right.
about.
We will be using the material, and we thank them.
Yes, yes. They did a great story on the event yesterday, and they have been able to locate about 70 missing in action POWs in the last 70 per year. Last year, the prior year before that. So, hopefully, at some point in time, we get
And
all
that's
our-
the Vietnam bill you're talking about.
Oh, all of them.
All of them?
Yeah, Korean, World War II,
Yeah.
predominantly Vietnam. But you know, they won't stop this vigil ever until everyone's accounted for.
That's right. Well, that's their job. Yeah.
And that
That's
one,
what they do.
Yeah, we didn't get a chance to mention that was coming up on our last show. So, anyways, going on. If you're going to watch our show, I suggest you have your paper and pen and pencils ready so you can write down phone numbers. dates, because I'm sure we're going to mention some things that they want to.
If we give a test, we'll do it like at Harvard, take home and they can cheat.
Oh, okay, we'll give a test too.
sure.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
so information and a test.
Okay, we'll go to the house,
Okay, test.
both of them.
Okay, I'm going to keep this one on the sideline because we know we got a special town meeting coming up in October, and I know, being a selectman for many years, that's something that you've dealt with time and time again. We mentioned the Raynham Lions Club, an event coming up. What we failed to mention was they also, October 1st, coming up, Monday, October 1st, they have their first inaugural golf tournament.
Oh, I didn't get that one.
Yep, very first one. It's being held at Scotland Links. It's cost is $100. There's afterwards there's a dinner and there's prizes and all. And again, these numbers have been advertised. The gentleman to contact, his name is Walter Solomon, and you can reach him at 774-218-0187. That's 774-218-0187. Or you can simply call the Raynham Lions Club at 508-823-7911. Again, that's for the inaugural golf tournament scheduled Monday, October 1st. The library. If I start to get into some of yours.
I haven't got it yet.
Okay.
I got something for the Lions Club, but you have a different one, so that's great.
Oh, what'd you have for the Lions Club? We can go back and forth.
Lions Club, I've got on the October 20th, there's a cocktail hour at 6, and at 7 o'clock there's a family-style meal for $25, and it's a dinner and a comedy.
Oh, the comedy show, which last show we did touch on.
So that
that's
is
a good reminder.
So that's just tying into
Beautiful, because that's the same. I would guess the same phone number for the Lions Club, 823-7911.
Sure.
For tickets. I know that there's still
It is
some.
by reservation too, by the way.
That's by reservation. Okay, and I know that there's a few spots left on the golf tournament. So if you're interested in that, I wouldn't wait too long though on that. I was told there are some spots left. Library. This was something I'd never heard of before. Maybe you had, Don. They have something called Scratch for Kids, 10 and older, Saturdays at 12:30 p.m. It's interactive, create your own stories, games, arts, music, etc. You can visit the library website, which is the raynhampubliclibrary.org, not .com. That's
Sure.
raynhampubliclibrary.org, or call 508-823-1344. Excuse me. Have you ever heard of Scratch for Kids?
No, but I've read that, so that's.
Saw that also?
I've also got a library when you finish with that one.
Okay, for 10-year-olds and old. Oh, you do it?
Oh, no, just a, no.
Oh, what do you got on the library? 'Cause
Well, just the same one I had last week, but we're getting to it, September 25th, which really is tomorrow, I guess. They're having that image of Italy on display in the library, and at 6 o'clock they're having a guest speaker by the name of Joe Kennedy,
Yeah,
believe it or not.
yeah.
And he's going to talk about his various photos that he's taken, and they're on display around the library for those who want to see it.
Actually, I see that. They have a website for those, the Kennedy, it's called the Travelogue, I guess. The www.joekennedyphotography.com.
Yep.
That's a pretty big website name. Again, I hope you have your pen or pencil ready when you watch our show. Or you can watch our rerun. Also, beginning in September at the Raynham Public Library, story time for preschool kids. Offered, it said, each week on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. It says stories, songs, puppets, plays, and crafts. Children have fun as they learn, et cetera, et cetera. That's all going on at the library. And then another one, the library's a busy place. Pottery program offered at the library beginning October 10th. Again, we can bring this up again. Again, you can check the local Gazette. I don't know if it's in the call. It probably is. For information, a call at our Raynham Public Library on that pottery program. Again, I'll let people read on that. So have all that going on at the library. And more. That's what the Raynham Library.
Yeah.
I know. Did I scare you?
No, I jumped.
I saw you jump there. This one's interesting. I read this. I'm going to talk about this.
Well, I hope you do.
Somehow you knew I would.
Yeah, I know.
It says bats swoop into Raynham Library. I hope this is an event because
Yeah.
it says October 17th. Discover the amazing facts about bats when Maria Amor, does that mean love in French or something? brings her bat collection to the Raynham Public Library on Wednesday, October 17th at 6:30 p.m.
Oh.
Says
got
she
a
is a
collection.
biologist at Bridgewater State University.
Oh.
Specializes in bats. Learn about bad habits. I know one person who will not be there. That'll be my wife.
She doesn't care for bats?
She does not care. She considers them flying rodents. Learn about bad habitat, feeding, etc. Please
There is
register.
quite a story on bats, isn't there? I mean, really, they do some good.
Oh, I hear they
Mosquitoes,
thousands
for
of
one
these-
thing,
Thousands
yeah.
of mosquitoes,
Yeah,
yeah. It says, please register for this event. So they do want you to register ahead. And again, you can go to the raynhampubliclibrary.org site or call the library. And then finally, again, you know, you take your library for granted, but our public library
It's a
offers.
great library.
It's fabulous. These are all just in the next week or two.
Yep.
All these events. And this is what's called the FAIR, or the Fair Reading Program. And that launches October 6th. An initiative that offers families and children's 6 storytelling sessions by modeling expressive storytelling, introducing the pleasures and rewards of exploring ideas. It says FAIR encourages parents to read to their children at home, which we both highly encourage as well.
Sure.
We know the benefits of that. And on. Again, you can read about this in the Taunton Gazette or the Call. So a lot of stuff going on locally at the Raynham Public Library. I have some other things. You want me to take a break with
Yeah,
my
well,
mouth? And
I'll
let you-
take a couple and then you
Yeah,
can
why don't you
chime
go ahead,
back
Don?
in.
Sure.
These are a couple of municipal nature. Southeastern Mass Commuter Rail Task Force will meet on Wednesday, October 10 at 3 p.m. in the Raynham Town Hall, and that's on Route 104, and I think everyone knows where the town hall is. But that's where they will meet. As most people know, who know me know that I've been opposed to the railroad since the beginning, which is Jimmy DuPont was a selectman at the time when we first found out about it, so it gives you an idea how far back it goes. But they do keep meeting, they do keep coming, and you know, I just think the railroad is so far off, because there's one thing the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, with all due respect to former governors and present governors, they are bonded to the limit, and the Dean, David Flynn, used to tell us that regularly, but they keep talking about it. But anyway, they have a meeting. I think they pay the person that comes around $97,000 a year, so we hope somebody listens to them. Because they got to know what they're talking about for 90. If it was 95, they wouldn't know what they were talking about.
Yeah, and you're probably not going to appreciate this, Don.
Yeah.
But I'm going to agree with you again. This has got to
This
stop.
show is being canceled.
I know, I'm going to cancel our show pretty soon.
It'll be agree to agree.
It's going to be yes, agree to agree, because for many of the same reasons. First of all, the state's history of running things. Let's see, how's the MBTA doing right now? I don't even know what the number that is. So we're going to spend, say, another $1 billion to extend that into through the swamp down to our neck of the woods.
One day we should invite that person in who gets paid $98,000 to say hi to us.
I think we should.
We would enjoy it.
I
But
would
we
love-
would be nice, because we are
Oh,
nice
of course
people.
we would. I would especially like to ask them, you know, when they estimate how much your fair share, now that you're a town that they
Yeah.
go through,
Yeah.
how much that's going to cost the town of Raynham, too.
We had that, and they're wonderful people. When they were running for selectmen, you and I both, we had interviews with people vying for the position of selectman. And they both were, all three of the four were for the railroad. And so I said to them, do you have any idea what it's going to cost the community in assessment? And they said, well, we just won't let it come through if that's what they're going to do. And I'm saying, oh, they're wonderful people and good to their mother, but they have no idea what they're talking about. We just won't let them go through. But that's the way some people look at it. They don't understand. They have no idea about it, Bill.
And the concept of being able to have an efficient train that would come through here and swoosh it right to Boston, just like the Jetsons, by the way,
Yeah.
it's the 50th anniversary of the Jetsons today. You know, that'd be a great premise to be able to have a train, but it just doesn't work that way. And the cost to the town, people don't realize. You're going to be given
You're going to
something
be
up.
assessed.
Yes.
And so anyway, we'll get off that, but we will later on. We'll get back to that because that's a good one. The other thing I had was on October the 15th now, cultural grants, the Raynham Cultural Council of Arts, Humanities, Science programs, and on October the 15th in the Raynham Town Hall, they're going to hear or receive applications for grants. The grants support various projects, including exhibits, festivals, field trip, personal performances in the town. This is the Raynham Cultural Council. You can call up the selectmen and they'll give you the time on this. But they have $3,800, which is a tidy sum, in grants to be given out to people. And I think the cultural probably partially supported the Raynham history book with Patrice White that time. I think they
Yeah,
contributed
excellent.
something.
I heard of that, and the deadline is very soon, isn't it? What, did you say?
Let's see, it's due by October 15th.
So they have a couple more weeks if you want
That's
to
right.
get it okay for that grant.
That's right. And call up the town hall and they'll give them the names to call to get this information. Got anything else they're waiting for?
Yes, I do. Now, last week you took the seniors. People might have just assumed because you're a few years older than I that was the reason, but it really wasn't.
A few.
Okay.
Go on, Bill.
The senior center's been pretty active too. Actually, my sister-in-law is pretty active over there. You might know her.
Yes, she is very
Yeah.
active over there. She's a great job, too.
Let's see, they have an exercise, a 60-plus exercise. I'm discriminated against. I cannot participate in that. Twice weekly at the Senior Center on Kingsfield Street, Wednesday and Friday at 9:45 a.m. at $2 per class. That's starting up. The number to reach at the Senior Center, I think that's in the phone book too, but it's 824-2740.
Physical fitness, Bill?
Yeah, again, 60 over, 508-824-2740, $2. So not too bad.
That's a good deal.
And then, now this is very popular. I hear a lot of people participate in these types of things. Tai Chi, there's boot camps in Tai Chi. That's
I
something.
get that to go on a
Tai Chi.
Saturday night.
Yeah, I think I've had Tai Chi, sweet and sour with
Yeah, I
that.
think so, yeah.
Okay. We're gonna get ourselves in trouble.
We are in trouble.
Yes, we. Let's see. 6 weeks of Tai Chi. This again at the Senior Center, beginning September 27th at 10:30 a.m. Now this is $24 for 6 weeks, and according to my calculator, that's $4 a week. But they do want you to sign up in advance. So September 27th, you have a few days to sign up in advance. Again, at the Senior Center.
And it sounds like a good time had by all. A lot of these things that they do, there's fellowship involved besides the actual activity. So the people getting to know people, it's a good thing to sign up.
It sure is, and that's, again, it's almost like you read my mind because you segued right into a terrific opportunity for people to get to know other people. This is young people.
Yeah.
Computer classes for seniors. Now, we know that
I did see that, and I thought it was dropped from the paper. I didn't see it again. When is it open, Bill?
well, first of all, we have to admit that we know nothing about technology. The kids are the ones who know everything about it.
Because they start off.
I will admit that.
That's right.
Yeah. The BR High School Civics Club, okay, is offering what's called a one-on-one computer class for seniors. I don't know what constitutes a senior, what age, but I'm sure that no matter what age you are, it probably allow you to sign up. Starts October 1st, Monday, at 2:15, and this is at the high school. It's at the computer lab, and you like the price. It's free, okay?
Meets my budget.
Yeah, it's in everybody's budget. The number to call, this is a Bridgewater number, 508-697-6902. Again, that's 508-697-6902 or 508-345-9627. Either one of those. This is a computer classes for seniors with the high school civics club. And again, they'll teach you, how to utilize a computer, and it really is simple. If you've been afraid to get on a computer, these youngsters, I'm sure, can show you just how simple it is today to do that.
I think that will be headed up by Rick Cipher. It usually is, maybe not. I'm reading into it, but he's the one who ran it last year. And my wife and I both attended last year. And
what did you think of it?
I thought it was wonderful. And the kids are great. And you get talking with the kids, and they're very understanding of us elders. And it worked out rather well. I now get my own email. I do my a little bit on the computer. I'm looking to get a little bit more now that I'm going to try to do a little history of Raynham or chronicle of Raynham. What is that thing you can talk to it and it doesn't talk back? There's something.
Cat. I'm trying to think, I'm sorry.
I gave you an easy one.
I know you gave me an easy
moved
one.
right in on it. But I'm going to try to, get a little bit on that. But I was last year, and I think I've done it last year. But I would say it's an excellent thing for a senior to go to. And if I hadn't gone to it last year, I'd be going to it this year. And Rick and his students are just wonderful, wonderful kids.
Again.
Everybody has a computer to work with. It's very nice.
And the price is right. You just have to get transportation. Now, I'm gonna be careful with this one, I think. This is another senior center workshop, Alzheimer's workshop. It says essential skills for caregivers. And what I found fascinating about this is so many people that we know. I had family members now who lost. Who Alzheimer's wasn't even around as far as we knew when we were young.
We used to refer to it as senile.
Or dementia,
Well,
yeah.
dementia is the early stage.
But now we realize that there's a difference.
Right.
And caring for people in your family is, we all live longer, and a lot of people, families are sharing households with their parents and grandparents. The more I thought about this, especially when they talked about essential skills, and they mentioned a couple of them, communicating, understanding behavior, and safety at home. Because with Alzheimer's, you can just forget. You put on the oven, or you can do some things and completely forget. And there's so many safety issues that I'm sure that this class would benefit all of us. And
Very definitely.
yeah. And again, this is free. Yeah, and if they do ask that you pre-register, again, this is at the Senior Center. It starts October 4th. It's on the 11th and the 18th. There might be 3 individual classes. I don't know. And again, the number is, this is an 800 number, actually, for registration. It's 800-272-3900. Again, 800-272-3900.
Those are good.
Oh,
Those are good.
I'm going to go on some more.
Well.
We don't have any company today, so visitors. So I'll spend a couple more minutes on this.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm just going to ramble on. This is another one I found that I would like to do this one. Now this one's actually being held in Seekonk, but I think you can come if you're from Raynham. I believe you can go.
All roads lead.
All
to
roads
Seekonk.
lead
I
to
just saw some guy pulled over, and he said to me, "How did you get to Seekonk just the other day?"
It just happened.
Yeah.
Maybe he was
to Brockton, but nonetheless.
Maybe he was looking for this, because I found this fascinating. It's called an edible wild plant walk. Okay, and this is put
Looks
on.
like something you'd like, Bill.
Yeah, I like to eat. It's put on by the Seekonk and Rehoboth Land Conservation Trusts. This is what's interesting. It starts at the home of Tom and John Webb at 10 o'clock. All right, I'll
That
give you
would
a
be
date.
the website.
I like that. That was good.
Don't tell
Masha
Marsha I
At
did
the
that, or
website.
she'll
Oh,
get
no,
mad at me when I did that.
bonus point for that one. That was good. The website of Tom and John at 130 Jacob Street in Seekonk. This is what they do. You head off into the woods and you identify what can be eaten and not eaten, what's poisonous, what's healthy.
And how would you do that, Bill?
Well, hopefully you learn to identify what.
I noticed that what he says on his own. I have no. In other words, you eat something, and if you keel over, it was poisonous. Well, how do you do this?
Well,
What did you get us involved in here?
they know.
This is a.
They know how to identify.
They do.
Yeah, they do.
The webs.
Yes. Well, at least they're leaving from Tom and John's website.
Who are they? Who is this? Are we going to be arrested before this
I
podcast
don't
is
think
over?
so.
This is live. The police are live.
I know. I'm going to hope that door locks from
Go
the
and
inside.
take some.
Okay, now, I have a tendency of starting to laugh very hard. Mr. McKinnon can make me laugh, so I I'm trying to.
Well, I'm trying
my
to figure out how we're
composure.
going to try this
Well-
stuff. I mean, what do? You go over them with a little bean?
I was a Boy Scout. Were you a Boy Scout?
I was a Cub Scout. I didn't get promoted.
You didn't make
It was a test. Very difficult.
Didn't do
test.
well on that test.
No.
Well, see, this is probably why.
That would be.
You know,
I kept bringing home poisonous berries and tried to sell them in front of my house
well,
for $1. Yeah.
It might have been the knots. Too. The knots were tough.
Oh, God, this is wonderful. See,
Get your composure.
it's
get
in
your-
Seekonk, though, right?
I want to thank Simpson Springs for the juice because
That's right.
this is just fruit punch. I really
Sure it
think.
is, Bill.
I'll put this back down.
Sure you will, Bill.
I really think that I would like to have every child have the knowledge to be able to get lost, not get lost, and find your way
No,
out
I
of the
know.
woods,
Yeah.
and know, well, if they have to find something to eat to survive,
That's a great point.
you know that the
it is.
raspberries are good, but maybe these berries over here aren't, or this root,
No.
you know.
With all due respect to my silliness, that is a very important thing. Yeah.
It is. It sounds like a great program. You know, Don and I just might check this out at the website.
With
One-
my sense of direction, just put me anywhere, and I won't find my way
I
back.
think they'll give you a compass.
That's even more difficult. Remember, I was just a Cub Scout.
Okay, a GPS for Dawn to get out of the woods.
Home. Okay, home.
Follow up, 130 Jacob Street, Seekonk. Here's the number. If you've got your pencil ready, you can you need to register for this. 508 636
636.
4693. Lucky extension number 13. Or you could look this up on a website. It's called BioReserve, BioReserve, BioReserve at TTOR. I wonder what that stands for, TTOR.
Is this for nothing, though? You go there for nothing?
.org. I saw no price attached to this.
Yeah, they call that bait and switch.
What are they going to swap it off with?
They're going to charge you for
Or
the
the one-
berries.
They'll charge you so much to get out of the woods. Is
That's
that what it
right.
is?
That's right.
Going in is free, getting out.
Absolutely. You've got a sick sense of humor, but I enjoy it. Oh, for goodness
Okay.
no.
You know, just before we went on the air tonight, Don, we'd mentioned how great of a game, the football game was, and Don said it had everything in it but officiating.
It did. It didn't have any officials, and yet they played a very good football game.
I still haven't stopped laughing since that. Okay, I'm finally getting towards the end, as the great Karnak used to say.
Oh, already?
I can go on.
Good. You're doing great, Bill.
Okay.
You're carrying me. This is good.
The RYBSA. If you have kids, you know what that is. That's the Raynham Youth Baseball Softball Association. I was on that board for many years. You're going to be seeing the signs going up. They'll be taking registration, believe it or not, for next year, starting in another week or two. They try to get everybody registered as many as they can by the end of October. That way they know how many kids they're going to have next year for all the programs, the softball and the baseball. And and I'm going to mention a good friend of both of ours. He sat on the board with you, a selectman, at least a couple of terms, Mr. John Donahue.
2 terms.
He
John
was the
did a good
president
job.
of RYBSA for 4 years, and he just stepped down.
Oh.
He will no longer be running as president. Actually, Tony Marlino is now the new president. So
Okay.
John's all done.
Did a great job. He'll go on to something else. He stays active.
He absolutely will. And just like all of his predecessors, John left that organization, I don't want to say just a little bit better, significantly better than when he entered it as the president of the RYBSA.
Sure. Great.
And watch that grow over the decades. It's become a fabulous program for so many kids, too.
So that's great. That's good news.
Okay, I'm going to...
Unless you happen to be the guy that preceded him that you just badmouth.
You can't badmouth him because I think that was
No,
Bob.
not John. I'm talking about the guy before.
Well, that was
Wait a
Bob.
minute, that was you.
Well, yeah, I was the vice president, actually. Bob McCabe was, and he did a great job. He's a
We
legend.
I love Bob
He
McKay.
was a legend. Yeah.
He is.
Yeah.
He's
There's 2.
wonderful.
The one that we just lost, who was a vet, and then
And then,
the one who did the baseball.
yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't mention my Republican Town Committee meeting because I had not had a chance to talk with the Democratic chair. Well, I since have.
Well, where is it? What telephone booth are you in this time, the town committee?
Well, this telephone booth, I can't give the location.
I wouldn't if I were you.
Because you're registered a Democrat. If you
Oh,
want.
this is a cigarette meeting.
Yeah,
This is like the KFC, they have cigarette.
Secret meeting, it's a secret handshake.
The Masons have cigarette handshakes. They caught Roosevelt and Winston Churchill shaking the cigarette handshake.
Well, the Republican meetings, again, we mentioned on the last program
Yeah.
that I'm the chair, and those are always held on the third Thursday of the month.
Oh, they meet monthly.
We meet monthly.
Democrat committee meets annually.
They do have it semi-annually sometimes. It's an election year.
Yeah.
I spoke with, I believe Marie is still the
Marie
chair.
Smith is chair, and
and-
Joe Pacheco is the vice chair,
chair.
and Donnie McKinnon is nothing.
Well,
Has been, I think. That's what I'm.
she told me that they were planning a meeting, and I said, well, please get that information to me,
Yeah.
and I'll get it out for our next meeting.
Oh, I see. For when our next meeting is.
Yes.
Oh,
So you'll know. See,
yeah.
ours, I can tell you right now, is gonna be
2013.
the 2000 after the elections are over.
Yeah.
And time to, ours will be probably at the function hall at the Legion, but it's the third Thursday.
Oh.
If you're interested in the Raynham or the Democratic Town Committee meeting,
Okay, all right. And you're going to, next time we meet, which is a couple of Mondays, I guess, you're going to give the Democratic one.
we're gonna get the dates and locations so everybody will know that.
The meeting was yesterday.
The meeting was yesterday. And while I'm talking about this one, I'll hand this off to you. You can take a look at this and tell me what you think, whether that's. This one is on a serious note because
This is to recall me. I'm out. What is this?
you're out. This Saturday at the American Legion, there's an American Legion event. It's a meat on a stick. It's one of the first ones. We've had a few.
Oh,
We
okay.
built a nice pavilion out there.
You're a
and,
member of the,
yeah, I'm an officer in the Sons. I'm the senior vice chairman of the Sons.
you got more titles. I can't
I
keep
got
up
lots
with
of
you.
titles. Lots of
I
titles.
know you do. I'm proud of you. You've overcome being a Republican. This
I've
is
overcome
wonderful.
that. I'll even mention a name, Kerry O'Brien Bastistache. Tough name to pronounce.
Well, you managed to destroy it.
But she has a nice Irish name, Kerry O'Brien. I thought you'd appreciate that.
O'Brien is
Yeah, she's
wonderful.
dealing.
See how the Irish people bail you people out?
I know,
You,
but she had cancer.
Oh.
And this is a fundraiser.
Oh, for
okay?
her?
Yes. It's meat on a stick. It's $15 at the American Legion this coming Saturday at 1 o'clock. You know, if you've never been to the American Legion events,
They're great. They are great. Absolutely.
and you'll probably meet so many of the neighbors that you never knew before, and you'll walk away with new friends, and you'll
It's terrific.
contributed towards, a worthy cause. One of our own Raynhamites who could use a little help. And anyway, that's coming up this Saturday at 1 o'clock at the American Legion, and everybody's welcome. What do you think about that?
What? The meeting?
The OCPF. Well, they're offering training, something new for the Republicans and Democrats. They actually have them on 2 separate dates.
Says the Democrats need no training. However, the Republicans should report to the. Well, by golly, I don't think they should put that in writing.
Sheriff's Department, is that who we
Yeah.
have to report that? No need to mention the schooling?
No.
Okay,
No, because we don't know. We're doing, who was it? Will Rogers, who said, I'm not a member of an organized party, I'm a Democrat?
Well, the reason and this one I guess I could show, if our viewing audience don't know that, people who are involved in politics have to file
Is
all,
it time for them to pick up their pencils again, Bill?
if they're a political person, they probably should have picked up their pencils. What's that with all those P's? There's no word for that. Already, because the OCPF is where everybody has to file any monies that they donate or receive at the Office of Campaign and Political Finance. And they're having schools coming up on teaching people how to go about that. There's seminars for Republicans and Democrats. But you could just go on the OCPF file, and I won't bother
No, that's fine.
on that one. So I think that's what I've got for upcoming events this
And
week.
I think that's good. Thank you. You've come well prepared. Certainly better than last week, which was a source of embarrassment to you and your family. This came out very well. No, you did very well last week. I say these things, then I apologize. I apologize.
Oh, none needed.
Okay.
Again, we have fun.
Let me go on to the debate, which was what day was it on? Do you remember? It was on
Thursday,
Thursday.
7 o'clock.
And it was 7 o'clock for 1 hour. And the fellow who ran it was John Keller, I believe.
Yep.
Keller's had good days and bad days, really. He was a pit bull when he was younger, it seems. He was always nipping at somebody's heel.
Yeah, he's become much more
He's
mellow.
much more moderate, much calmer. And I thought he ran a wonderful
I did too.
debate. I
You know,
thought that debate hour went by very quickly, and I thought it was very well done and a good debate.
I agree. You know, one of the things that I thought he did a great job was let's cut out all minutia, the you know, oh, why are you running, you know, and all that, my background stuff, and all they did was debate points.
Yep.
Well, they went after each other for an hour.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, I think for Keller, if he was officiating the Patriots game, we would have won last night because I think he would have made the correct calls.
yeah, would have made
I thought
some
he
calls.
did very, very well.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Now, I would say, if I were a Republican, I would say Brown won the debate. I, as a Democrat, will say Warren won the debate. And if you were an academic individual person, which you and I are both that, we would say it was doggone close to a tie because of the academic interest. Now, your Republican wheels are turning right around saying, no, it wasn't a tie, even if it were academic, right?
And you know why? The expectations of the professor were much higher than the senator. And I think that's where the difference lies, is I think there was a much higher expectation of her performance, and I was glad to see that she didn't reach it. Now, that was their first one. And I thought Scott Brown did much better than I thought he would in that debate. He came right out early, practically came off the plane, because as you know, the Senate was meeting down in Washington. They made a special arrangement to release him.
Which he didn't ask for.
No, it's funny because actually it was Harry Reid who wanted him to get
I understand. I heard it. Yes,
Yeah.
Harry. Good old Harry. Everybody likes Harry.
Yeah, and
Nobody likes Harry. What are you talking about?
well, I was going to give you that one. It's
no,
like,
I
okay,
like
if you
Harry.
think-
I like him. He's fine.
But yeah, I think the expectations were much higher, and I know she's stammered it out of there. Not a very happy camper with her own performance on the first debate.
She wasn't happy.
She was not a happy camper. No.
4 debates all told.
I knew there was 3. Is there 4?
Well, I thought there was 4 all told, and there's 3 more after this. I thought.
Oh,
I don't
maybe
know. It's a
3.
bit stretch. I think 2 or 3 is fine. 4 is a stretch, I believe.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you, as a involved person in the political party, it struck me that Senator Brown was in Washington, and when they had their backers, as they always do before the debate, Warren probably had 100 people out in front of the studio, and I think he had 3. And then I think later on he must have had, right near the end, he must have had some more people. You may know
No, there was a
more
big.
about that.
They had a huge rally located right just down the street on Soldier Field Road.
Down the street.
I was invited, and I
Yeah.
didn't.
Yeah, but I'm just, and I'm just giving you a Democrat's look at him. What in the world did he, in Washington, if he had done what he thought was going to happen, he wouldn't have made the debate, because the only way they made the debate, and everybody's mad at Harry for saying it, he finally called the meeting to order, Harry Reid, said, we're no longer going to discuss any issues, we're not going to vote on anything else, because there's a person in the audience trying not to get to his own debate, and I'm not going to give him, isn't that basically what he said? And I'm not going to give him that out, so therefore the meeting is adjourned. And they're all looking around. They had 2 or 3 hours more to go, and if they had it to go, Senator Brown would have had his reason for not going to the debate. But I'm saying now, even before the debate started, what was that all about? That could almost come under my, what was he thinking?
I'm not quite sure. I haven't figured that out
He
myself.
just made the plane.
he
He
just
made the debate, and if he had his way, Keller would have been there, not a happy camper, announcing that there is no debate.
Yeah,
What was he thinking?
I was quite surprised that maybe Harry had thought Brown wouldn't do well, and so it was, to his, obviously Harry does not want to see.
Well, if he saw Brown trying to stay around instead of go to the debate, that would be a pretty good guess that he would have thought that.
Yeah, and again, but hey, fortunately for as far as I. I'm glad that that he did get there. I did that first debate, and I'm glad he performed so well. I thought he did exceptionally well, and I hope he stays at least at this level.
I will say that one of the major things that were evolved from that debate was his early, what is almost like an attack on Warren as to whether she is, quite candidly, and there aren't many people that will come out and say that about an opponent. To be fair to the political, and you and I know there are types, there are part of the politicians that you don't care for. They don't carry their own, they don't do it themselves. He did it himself. Usually they have a surrogate who will come out and question the integrity as to whether she was not telling the truth or not about whether she is a Native American. He actually came out and challenged her as to whether she was telling the truth or not, which in my world, where I come from, he was calling her a liar. Am I wrong?
No, you're not. He had a right
Called
on
her
her
a liar.
heels. He said, essentially, you can prove that you're not. Just provide the documentation. And I don't know why she's not. Well, I would guess I know why she's not. It's because of what she checked. Elsewise, she'd be right. If it was you or I, would go, see what I checked? It's right here. Don't ever, now I'm going to prove that you
Well,
just
I'm
called
going
me.
to say to you, and it's funny to watch this, and we're going to have a good time with this one, because I'm thinking of two people that I don't really know one, and of course I kind of know the other. President Obama sat with a birth certificate that he sat on for months and let Donald Trump, Donald Trump and people like that challenge whether he was an American citizen or not, whether he was born in the United States. And many Republicans were jumping on this, and then suddenly Obama, here it is, here's the documentation, which you're talking about, Warren isn't showing.
Yeah, the documentation, which to this day, I mean, you have to admit, I mean, most everybody does wonder, gee, is that really only because of when you look at the time and the fact that why didn't he just, when you go
what I'm
for a
telling
job,
you is, I'm not sure what Warren has in mind, what she's going to do. There's 3 more debates to go, and the other fellow, I'll tell you, and this one was very local, Charlie Crowley was running for mayor in the city of Taunton against Donald Cleary. And someone started it, not Donald Cleary, that he did not graduate from high school. Do you remember that?
I do recall, and I know the election well.
It went on for quite a period of time. It reminded me of the Obama thing, and I was going to ask Charlie, and then naturally forgot last time I saw him, which came first, the chicken or the egg. Did Charlie get this from Obama to hold off on this, and then when Donald Trump is totally out on a limb, hit him with the facts? Or who did it first? I don't know, because all of a sudden, in the Gazette on the front page, there was Charlie Crowley holding his diploma.
Yeah, I'm trying to recall.
And I said at the time I heard it, because I must tell you that Don Cleary, I've worked for Don Cleary. He was a wonderful boss. He's a fine human being. His family's a wonderful family.
In the Taunton school system.
In the Taunton school system. He's a great individual, and as close as I can say, I consider him in that sense a friend in that fashion. But as soon as he started giving validity to the fact, and I think he did, as to whether Crowley had graduated from high school, he started to sort of join that voice wherever it started. I'm thinking, that is very dangerous ground. And all of a sudden, did Charlie do it because he just found his diploma? Or because he had it in the drawer and waited till Donnie stepped out on the plank and then, oh yeah, dropped off? And then he suddenly showed the thing. As soon as I saw the diploma, I said, the race is over, Cleary wins.
It was over anyways, because Charlie was going to beat Donnie 2-1, just from, I was a city chair of Taunton, as you may not know, for 15 years. So I know Taunton politics pretty well.
Yeah.
And the alignment of the people. Charlie Crowley is one of the most respected men in Taunton, period. The only person that may be able to give him a run for his money, there's only a couple or 3, somebody like a Bob Nunes, Mr. Seamus. There's not many. And as well respected as Don Cleary is, and I think the world of Don also.
We both disclaimed pretty good. We did all right today.
Yeah, well,
yeah, no, but we do like him. We personally
he's
like
a
him.
nice, he's a fun man,
Terrific guy.
intelligent man.
Yes.
But Charlie is one of the very few people who just absolutely loves his town, his city. He's the historian of the city.
Yeah.
And you just read it in all of him. And you know that he was going to do anything. If it was anything with that city, it was going to be nothing but the right thing. Poor Donnie, I just didn't think he was going to be lucky to get up there to the vote.
But I'm just saying, when I saw Crowley with that diploma, which I thought we all knew that he had a diploma. I mean, this was almost silly talk, but it was also silly. If you know, the wonderful thing about politics is that even at the local level and at the national level, it can be the same thing, and at the state level, it can be the same thing. Here is a bunch of very well-educated people accusing Obama of not being a citizen. Here are a bunch of very well-educated people saying Charlie Crowley didn't graduate. And here are some very intelligent people saying that Elizabeth Warren is not partially Native American. Now let me follow up on this. I'm going to follow up on two ways on this. The first one I'm going to follow up on, there's two types of history, written and oral. Before you get written, there has to be oral. Someone has to speak it to say it. But if there's no one there to write it, it becomes oral history. In many families, and when we talk about ourselves on a slow evening when there's nothing else to talk about, we'll talk about ourselves. I'm going to wait and pump information out of you on your family, which I believe is mostly oral, but it is oral of such a note that people in Raynham are going to be, they don't know the history of the Nickerson family like you're going to evolve. Oral history. So what I'm saying is, what Professor Warren was saying is, this was within her family, things were said. What now is being challenged, not only was what she heard correct or incorrect, but it's being questioned whether she falsely checked off forms that she was a liar on what she heard as a citizen. And I'm just saying, Bill, that you're on dangerous grounds when you question a person's oral history, because I will tell you written history, and I don't get an argument from any of the historians I've known, and I've known a few. 80 to 90% of written history is wrong. It's incorrect.
Again, I bet your number 80 to 90 is very
plight.
accurate. Probably right about
plight. Go for Tonkin. Go right down the list of things that they say in writing. Because see, all you've got to do is say it long enough. Toby Gilmore in our own town, that's something which we've had interesting discussions on that one, and we will in the future too. Oral history versus written history. So what I'm saying is, she heard this orally from her family. This is family heritage. I don't care whether she checked off that piece or not. You may, and Brown really doesn't either, but for the case of the thing. But to challenge a person of that stature, and I'm putting Brown in the same stature, so I'm not just saying her, to say a person is a liar would be for her if she challenged Brown. You say when you were 8 years old you fought one of your stepfathers to protect your mother's reputation, something of which he said right along. People would be aghast and say, well, but he said it. Well, was it in writing? No, it wasn't in writing. Was anybody there to see it? No, no one was there to see it. So I say, first of all, you shouldn't challenge a person's integrity by calling them, in point of fact, a liar. That's off a slippery slope when you do something like that. But the other thing is, Bill, and this you're going to disagree with me on, as soon as I see a candidate getting involved in something other than what it's all about, meaning policy, meaning where's my buck going as a taxpayer, if I see them getting involved in what I consider frivolous or silly, I say to myself, they're changing the subject. You know, when kids are very small, we've had our little children, and when you see something going on, you change the subject, and that way there you get them on to something else. Changing the subject is what you do with children. What Brown has done with the electorate in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts is he's changed the subject. Do you really care in the final analysis, legislatively, when one of them goes to Washington and votes on legislation, whether Professor Warren is or is not partly Native American? Does it really matter in the big picture of things?
Well, what it goes
Unless
to...
you're calling her a liar.
Okay, what we're going to is the credibility. And the fact of the matter is that she, is Harvard applied, and there was certain, well, there's a lot of programs that are tailored towards helping minorities. A lot of people disagree with these programs, but that they were tailored and money's targeted to help certain minority groups to maybe catch up, or maybe to pay for some, atone for some sins of the past. And I think that if somebody were to take advantage of those programs, especially somebody who is not entitled to them, if that's the case, I think that goes to their credibility. And I think that's why this has been an issue. When it came to that debate, he, for the first 10, 15 minutes, that was what it was all about. Well, why don't you just tell us, can you show that you are, entitled to those things? I mean, those rules were put in place to help the Native Americans. And it's unfortunate it went that long, because she's essentially saying, well, I was told I was. Did you check the box? Well, would you show us whether you did or not? Well, it seemed like she was avoiding the topic, and maybe he should too, I don't know, but we were talking about the credibility of the candidates. And that was the first 50 minutes of an hour, sadly. I think to your point about avoiding the topic, the next three-quarters of an hour, I was surprised at Professor Warren, because what she did was essentially say, oh, I'm with the Clintons, I'm with Bill Clinton, I'm with Bill Clinton, and she is right about this point. She said, look, this could decide the Senate.
Could decide, yes, that's right.
It could come down to 49-40 as an independent.
That's right.
From Connecticut, Senator Lieberman. There's actually another one too, but and she was right about that point. This could decide the Senate, but she kept avoiding the issue, and and she started talking about what's the gentleman's name? He would end up potentially Speaker of the Senate, and I was like, I found that she kept avoiding the topics, avoiding the whole way. That's why
I know it didn't bother you, but I'm going to ask you if it did. That when he was discussing things that he sponsored and votes that he made, when she brought out the other side of the coin, because what we know is that when people write laws, there's two facets to it. And when she got to the point that he was voting for the oil company, that he was not genuine about his women's vote action in the Senate, that he, in the payroll and things of this nature, she tried to get him to address the fact that some of the legislation he voted for was other than what he was saying. It was disingenuous, as Jimmy DuPont's favorite word. He never addressed those other things. He never talked to the issue. So what happens is, and this is why 4 debates may be good, eventually you run out of what professional people do of that type, not nice people, good to their mother, but what they do, they avoid the actual question by answering whatever they want to get through. And that's what professional politicians do, no matter where you go. And what you've got to admit, and if you don't, okay, we agree to disagree. He was doing the same thing that she was doing. They were both doing the same thing. They both weren't digging into the depth of what they were talking about.
There were times, without questions, this is where I give the moderator some credit, because all too often we see that happen. But, I mean, they'll ask 5 questions and there's not one answered, and they just go off.
I know. And that's what they do.
Yeah, and I thought he did a pretty good job of saying, okay, you're starting to skirt the issue here. Let's get back. Yeah. And
the one thing I took issue with him on, though, and I think I did, and I could have been incorrect, when he started off, he first of all went to Senator Brown. And his question was to start it off, not why are you running, what can you do for the welfare. It was, what do you question about the character of the other
yes. That's
person?
how he started it, yeah.
And to start it off that way, and I'm going to take away the high points I gave him, to start it off that way, is to say to a person, do you find this opponent honorable?
That's exactly what he did. That's what the moderator did.
And I'll tell you where I think Brown might have made a little bit of a mistake in taking her on that. There is a saying, those which the gods wish to destroy, first they release their temper. And I believe Senator Brown, and there are stories around, has a very quick temper. And it seemed to me that he wasn't the type of person that you would want as a neighbor if there was a dispute upon who threw leaves over onto your yard or something. I think the way he came across was somewhat angry.
It's funny.
You don't think
I
he
never
was
heard. I do. You hear that about different people,
Yeah.
quick-tempered or short-tempered. I'd never heard that about Brown before. Again, but I don't know everything there is to know about Scott Brown. I know fairly well, but I've never really heard. You always hear about being the young on GQ having the look and all that, and that type of thing. And you're right. You do hear the stories about the abusive parents and coming to the defense
Right.
of the mother and things that no child should have to put up with. But I never, and maybe he does, but I didn't know of that.
I'm just saying that it appeared as if it wasn't in good fellowship to start it off. Now you're going to say, well, I'm going to say that maybe she was incorrect in not taking him on more, because where I come from, you take on the incumbent.
Mm-hmm.
And the incumbent is somewhat on the defense defending what they have. I'm saying what he did was he not only defended the vote he had, that's what happened later on in the broadcast, but he also took her on early on and wasn't in a good spirit of fellowship. Kennedy and Nixon had offices opposite each other. Kennedy delivered a check to Nixon when he was running for senator from his father, Joe, who was really a very conservative man, and dropped off that check in the office. These two guys would lunch together. They'd go places together. And even though they had really, obviously, one of the great debates, it was the first on television, they liked each other. I'm trying to think of, I had one opponent that, that could have happened. That can happen. I just don't see how it built to the point where he acts as if he doesn't like her. Because in our business, political business, and I'm sharing that with my portion of it, you like people. If you don't like people, you're in the wrong business. I don't think he likes her, and we'll see in the next couple of three debates.
And that could be a two-way street. I don't know how much they really like each other. I don't know. I don't get a sense yet. I mean, they're being as kind as they can, knowing that the cameras are rolling. But I haven't really got a sense that they really, because you're right. Sometimes you can tell, oh, these two, they just don't like each other at all.
No, I don't think they do.
And in other times, I mean, you can tell, oh, those two get along fine. They just disagree politically.
Well, the next time around, we got about 2 minutes, William, and we'll sum it up a little bit. We'll maybe go into the Kennedy, Sean?
Oh, the Sean Belot, Joe Kennedy.
Belot, Joe Kennedy. We can go in a little bit. We had a little discussion with him, but I want to hold off on that. If Joe Kennedy doesn't come to us, then I think we probably, unless you want to say something about, Sean did come here, and we appreciate it, and that was well done on his part. We thank him very much for that.
I'd like to get you.
But there will be a debate, I believe, at 11 o'clock on Channel 5. Ed Harding on 11 o'clock in the morning. It's the only televised debate, and it isn't this. Tell me, is it now? It is this Sunday, I believe.
It could be.
It is the 30th.
Will we be having a show next Monday? I know we're down to
No,
about a
I
minute.
think we're going to do every other.
Okay,
we'll
then
check with
we
our
might-
producer.
We might even miss
But,
a couple other debates.
Yeah, we usually do the every other week.
Okay.
But anyway, I would say we can discuss that debate because at 11 o'clock, all things being equal, we should watch that.
Okay, then we're going to be closing up. So once again, we want to thank our viewing audience. I hope they come back and join us again in a week or two when we're back on.
And we enjoy each other's company. People got to understand that we did this on the phone for only about 10 years.
10 years.
And what you're doing is you're listening to our telephone conversations here, and there's no charge for that.
So keep listening, and everybody have a great night.
And we thank you very much for dialing us in. And next time we will go into things that we didn't get to our final portion because.
Oh, that's right. What were they thinking?
What were they thinking? And that'll be next week.
Yeah, okay. I think we're off the air, and we can keep talking.
Well, we could sing a song.